Football is more than just a game. It is memory, emotion, struggle, glory, and identity woven together across generations. Every player carries a story far deeper than goals and trophies, a story shaped by sacrifice, setbacks, and moments that changed everything. On this channel, we don't just talk about footballers, we uncover the journeys behind the names, the battles behind the highlights, and the human stories behind the legends and rising stars who define the beautiful game, from dusty streets and academy pitches to packed stadiums and global stages. Footballers are shaped long before the spotlight finds them. Some rise through pain and rejection, others through raw talent and belief. But every great player shares one thing: a story worth telling. This channel exists to bring those stories to life, to connect fans not just to the player they watch, but to the journey that made them who they are. Here, we dive deep into biographies, careers, turning points, and achievements, celebrating both icons and emerging stars. Whether it's a legend who defined an era or a young talent rewriting history, every video is crafted to give you more than statistics. It gives you context, meaning, and respect for the game we all love. If football inspires you, motivates you, or simply makes you feel something, then you're exactly where you need to be. Raphinha's story is one of the most powerful modern football journeys. A reminder that elite talent often rises not from comfort, but from chaos, struggle, and stubborn belief. In a football world increasingly shaped by academies, analytics, and early privilege, Raphinha represents the raw, street-forged Brazilian tradition, a player molded by adversity long before applause ever followed him. His career is not just about goals, assists, or trophies, but about survival, reinvention, and an unbreakable hunger to prove himself at every step. Few players in world football have had to fight as hard as he did just to be seen. Unlike many Brazilian stars whose names were known before adulthood, Raphinha walked the long road. He was overlooked, doubted, and ignored in his homeland, forced to leave Brazil at a young age to chase a dream that seemed to slip further away with every rejection. While others were celebrated as prodigies, he was enduring loneliness, cultural shock, and financial uncertainty in foreign countries. That slow burn shaped him into a relentless competitor, fearless, sharp, and emotionally intense, a winger who plays as if every match might be his last chance. What makes Raphinha special is not just his technical quality, but the edge in his game. Every sprint carries defiance. Every dribble feels personal. Every goal looks like release. He is a footballer driven by memory of hardship, of doubt, of nights when quitting might have been easier. That emotional fire fuels a style that blends Brazilian flair with European discipline, making him one of the most aggressive and hard-working wide attackers of his generation. By the time Raphinha reached the elite level with clubs like Leeds United and FC Barcelona, he was no longer just chasing survival, he was chasing legacy. He had transformed from an unknown boy from Porto Alegre into a Champions League footballer, a Copa America winner, and a key figure for both club and country. His rise stands as proof that greatness is not always fast, but when it arrives, it is earned inch by inch. Raphinha, born Rafael Dias Bololi on December 14, 1996, in Porto Alegre, Brazil, grew up in a modest environment where football was both an escape and a dream. Raised in a city famous for producing tough, competitive players, he was surrounded by the game from an early age. Like many Brazilian children, he played barefoot on streets and futsal courts, developing close control, quick decision-making, and creativity. However, his early life was far from glamorous, and financial difficulties meant opportunities were limited. While other children joined elite academies, Raphinha often found doors closed. As a teenager, Raphinha faced repeated rejection from major Brazilian clubs, including Internacional and Grêmio. Lacking connections and financial backing, his path in Brazil stalled, forcing him to take a bold and risky step at just 18 years old. In 2016, he moved to Europe to join Vitória de Guimarães in Portugal, a decision that completely changed his life. The move was emotionally brutal: a young man alone in a foreign country, learning a new language, adapting to a new culture, and fighting to prove he belonged at a professional level. At Vitória de Guimarães, Raphinha's talent began to surface. His pace, dribbling, and direct attacking style quickly caught attention in the Primeira Liga. Despite limited experience, he played with fearlessness and confidence, becoming one of the club's standout performers. His performances earned him a move to Sporting CP in 2018. A major step up in Portuguese football and his first taste of high expectations and pressure. Although his time at Sporting CP was relatively short, it was significant. Raphinha showcased his technical ability and mentality, contributing goals and assists while competing for trophies. In 2019, he won the Taça de Portugal, his first major professional trophy. However, seeking more consistent playing time and development, he transferred to Rennes in France's Ligue 1. In France, his game matured further. Blending flair with tactical awareness and improving his defensive work rate, Raphinha's breakthrough moment on the European stage came in 2020 when he signed for Leeds United under Marcelo Bielsa. At Leeds, he became a fan favorite almost instantly. Playing in Bielsa's high-intensity system, Raphinha flourished as a winger who pressed relentlessly, tracked back tirelessly, and delivered moments of magic in attack. He quickly established himself as one of the Premier League's most exciting wide players, scoring crucial goals, creating chances, and carrying the team during difficult periods during Leeds' battles to survive in the Premier League. Raphinha often stood out as their most decisive player. His emotional leadership, passion, and refusal to hide during tough moments earned him immense respect. His performances against top teams highlighted his quality, and by 2022, Europe's biggest clubs were circling. His rise was no longer quiet, it was undeniable. In the summer of 2022, Raphinha achieved a lifelong dream by signing for FC Barcelona. Joining one of the most historic clubs in football represented a full-circle moment for a player once rejected in Brazil. At Barcelona, he faced fierce competition, tactical demands, and immense pressure, but he embraced the challenge. Over time, he proved his value with decisive goals, assists, and relentless work ethic, contributing to domestic success, including La Liga titles and Spanish Super Cup victories. Internationally, Raphinha's rise earned him a place in the Brazilian national team. He made his debut in 2021 and quickly became an important option in attack. His contributions during World Cup qualifiers and major tournaments demonstrated his ability to perform on the biggest stage. In 2024, he achieved one of the greatest honors of his career by winning the Copa America with Brazil, cementing his status as a champion at international level. By the present day, Raphinha stands as a symbol of perseverance in modern football. From street football in Porto Alegre to the bright lights of Camp Nou, from rejection to recognition, his journey is defined by resilience and relentless belief. He is not merely a winger known for pace and flair, but a competitor shaped by hardship, driven by emotion, and committed to constant growth. Raphinha's career continues to evolve, but his story already stands as one of football's most inspiring examples of how determination can outshine early doubt. Lamine Yamal represents a rare kind of football miracle, not just because of how young he is, but because of how complete, fearless, and natural his game already looks on the biggest stages. In an era where talent is carefully managed and slowly introduced, Yamal arrived like a thunderbolt, rewriting history before most players finish school. He is not a promise for the future. He is a reality of the present. Every touch, every decision, and every moment he spends on the pitch carries the weight of something extraordinary unfolding in real time. What makes Lamine Yamal so captivating is not only his skill, but his calmness. While stadiums roar and expectations explode around him, he plays with the composure of a veteran and the imagination of a street footballer. He does not look rushed, intimidated, or overwhelmed. Instead, he looks curious, as if the game is something to explore rather than survive. That balance between joy and control is incredibly rare, especially in a teenager exposed to global scrutiny. Yamal's rise also symbolizes a rebirth of faith in youth development at FC Barcelona. At a time when the club faced financial turmoil and sporting uncertainty, a boy from La Masia emerged as hope personified. He did not just fill a gap, he redefined what was possible. Every record he broke felt less like a statistic and more like a statement that talent, when nurtured with courage, can thrive regardless of age, beyond the club level. Lamine Yamal has become a symbol for a new generation of Spanish footballers. His story blends multicultural roots, modern football intelligence, and old-school creativity. He plays with instinct, but thinks with clarity. He respects the game's history while pushing it forward. And perhaps most importantly, he plays with freedom, a freedom that reminds the football world why it fell in love with the sport in the first place. Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Abana was born on July 13, 2007, in Esplugues de Llobregat, near Barcelona, Spain. His background reflects the multicultural reality of modern Spain, with a Moroccan father and an Equatorial Guinean mother. Raised in a working-class environment, Yamal grew up immersed in football from an early age, often playing with older children, which accelerated his development. His natural balance, close control, and confidence on the ball were evident almost immediately. At just 7 years old, Lamine Yamal joined FC Barcelona's famed La Masia Academy, a place synonymous with football intelligence and technical excellence. From the beginning, he stood out. Coaches quickly noticed his left-footed elegance, dribbling ability, and decision-making far beyond his years. Progressing rapidly through age groups, he consistently played against older opponents, not only surviving but dominating. Showing creativity and maturity that set him apart from his peers, Yamal's development at La Masia was carefully monitored, but his talent made patience difficult. By the age of 15, he was already training with Barcelona's first team, catching the attention of senior players and coaching staff. In April 2023, at just 15 years and 290 days old, Lamine Yamal made his official debut for FC Barcelona, becoming the youngest player in the club's history to feature in La Liga. The moment marked the beginning of a new era. The records did not stop there. Shortly after his debut, Yamal became the youngest player to start a La Liga match for Barcelona, the youngest to provide an assist, and later the youngest goalscorer in the club's league history. His performances were not symbolic appearances. He actively influenced games, taking on defenders, creating chances, and showing bravery well beyond his age. International recognition followed swiftly. Lamine Yamal chose to represent Spain, and in 2023 he made his senior debut for the national team at just 16 years old, instantly becoming the youngest player and goalscorer in Spain's history. Scoring on his debut, he announced himself to the world stage with confidence and composure, confirming that his club form was no accident. The defining chapter of his young career arrived at UEFA Euro 2024. Still a teenager, Yamal played a crucial role in Spain's triumph, delivering decisive performances throughout the tournament. He became the youngest player ever to feature, assist, and score in a European championship, breaking records that had stood for decades. His stunning long-range goal in the semifinals became one of the tournament's most iconic moments, symbolizing fearlessness on football's grandest stage. Back at FC Barcelona, Yamal continued to establish himself as a core player rather than a prospect. Despite heavy expectations, he adapted to different tactical roles, contributing goals, assists, and defensive work. His understanding of space, timing, and movement reflected the La Masia philosophy, while his individual flair added unpredictability. Managers trusted him in decisive matches, and teammates relied on his creativity. By the present day, Lamine Yamal stands as one of the most extraordinary young talents football has ever seen. Still at the very beginning of his journey, he has already achieved what many professionals never will: domestic titles, international glory, and a place in football history books. Yet what defines him most is not records, but the way he plays, with joy, courage, and intelligence. Lamine Yamal is not just shaping his own future. He is shaping the future of the game itself. Raphinha and Lamine Yamal, despite coming from completely different generations and life paths, are united by a remarkable football connection rooted in FC Barcelona's identity and philosophy. Both players represent the modern evolution of the classic Barcelona winger, technically gifted, fearless in one-on-one situations, tactically intelligent, and emotionally driven to influence matches from wide areas. They may differ in age, experience, and background, but when viewed together, their stories intersect through ambition, adaptability, and decisive impact at the highest level. One of the most obvious things Raphinha and Lamine Yamal have in common is their position and playing style. Both are predominantly right-wing attackers who favor their left foot, allowing them to cut inside, create chances, and threaten goal. Each brings creativity, pace, and directness, stretching defenses and opening space for teammates. They are not passive wingers. They demand the ball, take responsibility, and are willing to attempt difficult actions even under pressure. At club level, both players share the achievement of becoming key contributors for FC Barcelona during a period of transition. Barcelona faced financial constraints, squad rebuilding, and immense pressure to return to dominance, and both Raphinha and Yamal played important roles in that recovery. Together, They contributed to La Liga titles and domestic success, helping Barcelona re-establish itself as a competitive force in Spain. While Raphinha brought experience, intensity, and leadership, Yamal injected youth, unpredictability, and fresh creativity. Another major commonality is their ability to perform on big stages despite pressure. Raphinha proved this through decisive performances in the Premier League, Champions League, and international tournaments with Brazil, while Yamal demonstrated it astonishingly early with Spain at the European Championship. Both players share a fearless mentality, neither hides in important matches, and both seem to grow when expectations rise. This mental strength is a key reason coaches trust them in decisive moments, although Raphinha and Lamine Yamal come from different football cultures. They share a deep connection through Barcelona's tactical demands. Both are required not only to attack, but also to press aggressively, track back defensively, and maintain positional discipline. Their work rate is a defining similarity. Raphinha's relentless pressing and Yamal's surprising defensive maturity for his age make them valuable in modern, high-intensity football systems. In terms of achievements, both players reached historic milestones early in their Barcelona careers. Raphinha achieved the dream of playing and winning titles with one of the world's biggest clubs after a long journey of struggle and perseverance. Yamal, meanwhile, shattered age records at both club and international level, becoming one of the youngest players ever to score, assist, and win major tournaments. While the nature of their records differs, the outcome is the same. Both etched their names into football history. Crucially, Raphinha and Lamine Yamal have played together for FC Barcelona, forming a unique winger partnership that blends experience and youth. When they share the pitch, Barcelona benefits from balance. Raphinha brings tactical discipline, intensity, and leadership, while Yamal provides spontaneity, flair, and unpredictability. Their coexistence allows Barcelona to attack from both structure and improvisation, a rare and powerful combination. Their relationship on the pitch also reflects mentorship through example. While Raphinha is not officially a mentor, his professionalism, work ethic, and emotional commitment set a standard for younger players like Yamal. At the same time, Yamal's fearlessness and creativity push experienced players to maintain sharpness and adaptability. This mutual influence strengthens the squad and embodies Barcelona's tradition of blending generations. Perhaps the most meaningful thing Raphinha and Lamine Yamal have in common is what they symbolize. Raphinha represents perseverance, a player who climbed from rejection to the elite through resilience. Yamal represents possibility, a prodigy redefining limits at an unprecedented age. Together, they tell a complete football story, one of struggle and one of promise, united by talent, commitment, and the same club badge. In the end, Raphinha and Lamine Yamal are connected not just by trophies or matches played together, but by purpose. They are players who embrace responsibility, thrive under pressure, and carry the expectations of a global football institution. Their shared journey at FC Barcelona highlights how football's past, present, and future can coexist on the same pitch, one forged through hardship, the other born into brilliance. Both chasing greatness. Football journeys don't end at the final whistle, they live on through stories, legacy, and the fans who remember them. Every player we talk about leaves behind moments that shaped matches, clubs, and sometimes entire generations. By understanding their paths, we understand the game itself a little better, the passion, the pressure, and the price of greatness. This channel is built for true football lovers, the ones who care about where players came from, what they overcame, and how they reached the top. As the game continues to evolve, new stories are being written every season, and we'll be right here bringing them to you, one biography at a time, with respect, depth, and love for football. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dive football stories, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a new upload. And most importantly, comment below which player you want us to bring a full biography of, next legends, current stars, or rising talents. Your comment could be our next video.